Live. Hey you guys. So your girl is back. I'm back in his house. And as you guys can see, I have kind of a more serious topic. But my approach to it is going to be a little bit different than probably other videos that cover Neverland. But before we get started, anyone who is new to this channel, I would first like to say welcome, welcome. I'm gonna give you the welcome hands, and please do not hesitate. What are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button as well as the bell, so anytime any new content is uploaded, you will be the first to find out. And then you guys can also get used to my little makeshift that I have going on back here. For now, right? We're working with what we got. We're working with it. But yeah, so this is my soon-to-be thumbnail, but also my screensaver and topic for today's video. And also, too, let me get this out of the way. You guys can also support me on other platforms as well. You guys can check me out on TikTok. While it's still up, while it still exists, follow your girl, Lilah Michelle. I have a lot of MJ content that's currently posted on TikTok. But then I also do have, I hope you guys can see me okay. And my big head, is it blocking, MJ? Can you guys see? Can you see? Okay, we're all good. But yeah, I have MJ content on TikTok that you guys can check out. But I also, as I call myself, a celebrity entertainment content creator. And what that means is that I cover content that is celebrity related, as well as, you know, entertainment. But most of it, as you guys kind of like peruse through my TikTok, you guys can see that I do cover other celebs, but a lot of that content somehow, one way, shape or form, fashion or whatever, kind of some way loops back to MJ anyway. So you guys can check that out. And then also check me out on Instagram as well under I am Lilah Michelle. You guys can also give me a follow. Oh, well, I guess those are the two that you guys would technically give me a follow on. But you guys can also check out my website. Excuse me, sorry. Sorry, guys. Well, that's the joy of this being live, right? I cannot edit that out. I cannot edit that stuff out. But you guys can also check out my website, LilahMichelle.com. And at the end of this video, I always like to kind of do this little walkthrough where I turn around and then I just pull up some of these sites, and I always pull up LilahMichelle.com, and then you guys can also check out some of the things. I have a little bit of merch. I also have different ways that you guys can contact me, as well as the icons for the different platforms that you guys can follow me on. So with no further ado, hopefully too, I did not do a mic check, so hope that's not too loud in anybody's ear. I normally would do a little light mic check, but I did not do that. So I'm hoping that if I'm muted, somebody lets me know eventually. But yeah, so as you guys can see, my background here, I got MJ, and the title here is Neverland, What Happened to Michael Jackson's Dream. Because essentially, the way that I see it, MJ approached the creation of Neverland like he approached most of his projects, which was very ambitious, and as he called his own self, a visionary, right? So actually, to know the turn of events and the way that things went, and the fact that, you know, it's crazy to me that this was not turned into some kind of like, well, actually, technically, it is a bit of a makeshift memorial to MJ, even with the new owners of the property. Like, if you guys look at some of the different videos on YouTube, or if you guys are lucky enough to visit California and actually take a visit, you guys will see that it's still a lot of fans still put out pictures, flowers. So it technically has become a, hey, Cedric, how's it going? All right. How's it going? Much love. So that's where you are in France. Okay, nice. But yeah, so as you can see, where this is the topic that I'm covering, but I'm more so wanted us to just look at the making of it, MJ's vision for it, and, you know, where it's at today. Because I think a lot of, well, fans as well still may wonder, like, whatever happened to Neverland? Like, technically, it also has taken back the former name that it had prior to MJ purchasing it, which is Sycamore Valley Ranch. It's no longer called Neverland, but it's still Neverland, okay? It's still Neverland. It's still Neverland. But yeah, so with this, I just think it's unfortunate. Like I say, like most of MJ's projects, very much a visionary, very forward thinking, very ambitious, and was very ambitious in his creation of it. Now, technically, it was already laid out in terms of the amount of acres and the main house, right? Certain features within the property was already laid out, but over a 10-year span after MJ purchased it, he really turned it into what became Neverland. Okay, so just to get into some of the specs of it, you guys. So MJ first, which I didn't know this, you guys. I didn't, and you guys, you know, you can boo me. You could do your boos on the other side of the camera, but that's okay. It's perfectly all right. I never claimed to be an expert. I'm just a content creator. No, I have not. It sounds very spooky, Cedric. I'll have to check it out. I will have to check it out. If I'm reading that correctly, it sounds rather spooky, but I believe it. Shoot, I believe it. I believe it. I'll have to look it up. I don't know if it's on YouTube or not. And you guys that are not checking this out while it is still live, you guys can look at the live chat, and then you guys can always see the comments that are left. Anything that, you know, you guys see me going back and forth and you guys aren't able to see it, just make sure you tap that little live chat button and boom, you guys will get the live chat. A lot of good information is always shared in the live chat. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. Said no, I have not seen it, or have I heard about it, but I'm not shocked. If there were like ghosts and stuff up in, in Neverland, I would not be shocked at all. But yeah, so MJ first came upon Neverland, the property that would become Neverland, during the making of Say, Say, Say with Paul McCartney. And also, you guys, I'm going to give my own little thoughts around the link of like Paul McCartney. I'm not doing like conspiracy theory approach with that, but it's just, I think it's kind of interesting. I'll give my little, I'll get into that later, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Okay, so MJ first became acquainted with this property in 1983 during the making of Say, Say, Say with Paul McCartney. And, you know, apparently he was, and they say he was quite blown away by the property. It was, you know, a remote location, very peaceful. Just, you know, they say he was just in awe of it, and told, I don't know if he told Paul McCartney or he told one of his sisters, but told people that he did plan to eventually purchase it because he just loved it. Very peaceful and all of that. At that time, they say that MJ had just done some renovations on his family home and, you know, had like a small zoo and you know, Disney themed like little attractions there. But, you know, nothing to the level of what Neverland had become. So again, a visionary, right? But at the time, yeah, at that point, 1983, he had just finished rebuilding his family home, you know, which I guess was a nice little sneak peek into all of what he would eventually. Okay. Hold on, you guys are live, so this is the pleasure of it. Okay, sounds good. Sorry if I froze for a minute there, you guys. But anyway, yeah, so that is what, where did I leave off? Oh yeah, so I think that the rebuilding of his family home was a nice little sneak peek into, you know, what would become Neverland. Now, Neverland, in a way, I want to say like a theme park, but not quite, because he had, you know, a real like zoo, like so much was thrown into it. So what to say a theme park to me kind of, I mean, unless we're talking about Disneyland, you know, which was, you know, is a little bit different, but it definitely was more than just your average Great America amusement park, or, you know, Cedar Point, or wherever you guys are from, that you might equate that to. But anyway, okay, so he saw the property then, blown away by it. Again, the connection of Paul McCartney, I don't know. And he wound up purchasing it a little bit later in 1987. Now, the property was said to have, now how his lawyer was able to work that, I don't know. But it was on the market for $35.5 million. He purchased it at $19.5 million, which is, I think, an incredible deal. I don't know, you know, maybe he had inspectors come out and see all these different things that were, you know, maybe wrong with it. I don't know. But anyway, MJ got a heck of a deal on it. But they say from like that period on, he spent probably like double in just the installation and the creation of what would become Neverland. So with that, let me just back it up a little bit, you guys, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of a feel for just how expansive that property was. 2,700 acres. 2,700 acres of land. His main house was 13,000 square feet. The lake that sat on the property was 4 acres long. Like, that's a lot of space, a lot of land, a lot of footage there. He had a 5-foot waterfall, a stone bridge. And they say that if MJ had not purchased that property, it was likely to become like a country club or something like that, which that's what it sounds like to me. But anyway, so from that period on, and you guys, I don't have, which maybe in the future I will do, you guys let me know if you guys think that's a good idea. Like, maybe I could have like some kind of like slideshow thing happening. I can't do the music because of copyrighted stuff, you know, issues with YouTube. So that's why you guys don't hear any MJ music playing in the background. But at least I could give you guys like a little slideshow as we go through and we talk about it. Something. So we'll see in the future. We'll see what's to come with that. But anyway, so MJ spent nearly double that just for the installation. They say he put in 18 rides. He had so he had 18 rides that were put in. He had a 50-seat movie theater, which you guys can also see. Well, if you guys could just probably Google that anyway and just see what the inside of that looked like. But for those of you all that did follow the interview that he did with Oprah, there was a portion of that was taken in the movie theater, and I think he actually shows that to Oprah. But anyway, so it was a 50-seat movie theater with the hospital beds that were built into it. And that was for kids that were terminally ill, kids that were bedridden, sickly. The theater also included a snack bar serving popcorn, candy, ice cream, all that. And then again, like I say, the zoo, you know, so he went more elaborate with Neverland. They say he had a small zoo on his family property. But with this, he went really elaborate. He had elephants, giraffes, chimps, crocodiles, snakes, a bear, llamas, a reptile house. Like, he had a full-on, straight-up, yeah, I agree. Yep. Good point, said. Yep, huge residence, very big residence. And I think what he did with it was quite noble. Like, it was never officially open to the public, but he did always have, they say, thousands thousands of kids that came in from the Make-A-Wish Foundation, that came, inner city kids, children that were underprivileged. And it wasn't just what was publicized, where it was always shown sleepovers and all that kind of stuff. Like they would come in bus loads with other adults present as well, but it would be like a field trip sort of thing. Not just, what the public seemed to kind of turn the image of Neverland into. Yep. Right. And yeah, MJ, he did have a monkey at the time. Well, I don't know. Yeah, around that time. I know eventually he did have to, I don't know if he fully got rid of Bubbles, or I have to look into what he did exactly with Bubbles. But I know that you guys have to read the live chat comment. But I know that he did say that once chimps get to a certain age, much like humans, they start to kind of challenge the adult, challenge their parents, and MJ wasn't going for that. So, but yeah, okay, I digress. But anyway, as we know, MJ was an animal lover. Let me move my head around so you guys can see. So I'm not blocking with my big head here. But yeah, so you guys are taking away that he was very ambitious. He poured a lot of money into this as well. Not only, the purchase price, but the cost of renovation to really turn it into what it is he wanted it to become, that it ultimately did become. But then also, I heard it was like between $5 and $6 million just for the upkeep, for the staff, for the animals, for all of that, everything that went into that property. So very expensive. And the way that he used the park, I think, was incredibly noble. He was a humanitarian anyway, even though, like I say, as we know, the press has done a fantastic job in just, clouding, murking over his legacy and what should have been something that was just great. Neverland, unfortunately, it was not. What are the biggest penetrator? I'm not quite sure exactly what you mean, said. Not 100% sure. But once this video processes and the live chat is made available, if I do get what it is that you're asking, I'll try to reply back in the comments. But I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, but I know Neverland is one that a lot of people wonder, kind of like, whatever did happen to that, which was later, it was purchased at a huge discount. I think it originally went up for like $100 million, but only sold for $22 million. Now that could have been for different reasons. At the time that it sold was December of 2020. Who knows, maybe COVID had something to do with it. And just, where people anticipated the housing market to be at and all of that, or it could have been, MJ's legacy being as, unfortunately, as murky as it had become, at least the legacy around that Neverland Ranch. A lot of negative press. And it's just, like I say, just really unfortunate, because I think that, at least from what I saw, and you guys too, I do suggest, and I have suggested this in some of my past lives, that you guys check out, not just the Bashir interview, but the one that's actually the footage you weren't intended to see, the Bashir interview you weren't intended to see, because it actually, I think, gives you a nice glimpse into what Neverland was actually used for, and the real intentions around it. Like, I'm not talking about Bashir's portion, but I'm talking about the real unedited version of that. I think really kind of gives you a nice glimpse into Neverland. But, celebrities, he also had charity events where he would charge people $1,000 to enter through the gates, and that that entrance fee was used toward charity. yeah, just a lot of good. And it's just unfortunate, like I say, that it would Neverland just became shrouded by a lot of negative press. And MJ did, like I say, I didn't quite want to take this to the angle that I'm sure when you guys type in Neverland, what you guys will get mostly a lot of with this. I didn't quite want to take it in that direction. But to me, like I say, definitely do your own research. But I think personally, I feel like, people had a lot to gain from making accusations. And like I say, the crazy part is MJ was, found not guilty of all charges, like period. But that's not really a lot of times how people choose to remember him or remember Neverland by. Instead, they, prefer the documentary leaving, you know what I mean? It's just unfortunate. But I think that MJ intended a lot of good. He put, well, he always put his money where his mouth was, and well, I should say his money where his heart was. Because I always mention, even with his, I'll read that in just a second. I always mention that even with his, Pepsi commercial fiasco, with his hair, even once that was settled and, the amount of money that he got, all of it, he donated to the burn center where he was treated at. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the type of humanitarian that he was. And he poured so much of his, money into building it, to the upkeep of it, and just doing so much good that it's really unfortunate. Because I do look at that as being his dream. MJ create many beautiful songs on his Neverland. Yeah, that's true. He did. I think he called it like his giving tree. But yeah, right. For you guys that read this or check this out later, and you guys look at the comments that are in the live chat, Cedric was just bringing up that MJ did have a tree that he'd like to, climb up and create a lot of music from, write a lot of songs from. That I think he actually called the giving tree, I think. But yeah, so I just wish that there were more videos that actually do spotlight a lot of good that, MJ's ranch actually did. Everybody's entitled to have their own opinions, but I do always recommend to just kind of do your research. MJ did say that he really, although he was advised by his lawyer at the time, that the first allegation that was made against him, it was settled, but he felt like by settling, he just kind of left like an open sign up, really, that allowed people in to like, oh, okay, that's all I got to do, and I think it's the first allegation was settled for like 22 million or something, some ridiculous amount that he was advised at the time to just, don't push it through court. It'll be long, maybe at that time too, he was thinking about his career. Everything was, that was the first allegation. And it was like, oh my God. But he said, hindsight, now this is allegedly, this is what MJ said by people that were close to him, that he really regretted having settled, out of court with that he didn't fight that, because after that, people just saw him as just being like an open mark to, kind of prey on. But I think his heart was in the right place. I think that he, like I say, imagine just inner city kids alone needing a positive male figure, and not just a positive male figure, but they have like the king of pop. I mean, how inspiring is that? And they're, around all this vastness, this beauty, like how inspiring is that? That's what he created at the time. And again, for kids that were sick, that were ill, what could lift someone's spirits more than being in a beautiful, happy place? And like, you actually get a chance to meet, oh my God, you get to meet the king of pop. Like that has to be uplifting for someone who might be ill, not feeling well, whatever. So I think that personally, I think that his heart was in the right place. And, how many individuals can you really count with MJ's kind of money that he had that really laid it all out like that. I don't know too many. You know, if you guys can think of some later, you could always jam it, put it down into the comments section down below. But I mean, just true humanitarian. And I wish that it was more positive spotlights that were put on, you know, the Neverland, opposed to the negative press that surrounds it. And then with the biopic that's coming out, still people are wanting to spotlight negative thoughts and you know, things like that around MJ, which I think is just really unfortunate, because not only was he an incredible musician, entertainer, but he was a huge heavy hitter businessman as well. So, you know, like I say, the rabbit hole kind of goes a little deep with it. But like I say, personally, I think more people had things to gain from making accusations against MJ and trying to ruin his legacy, opposed to, you know, just being honest. And if, you know, so just really unfortunate. But I wanted to take a minute to spotlight. I think it's really hard. How can you mention MJ and talk about MJ topics and not talk about Neverland? I'm not going into the documentary and what I thought and all that kind of stuff. And to be perfectly honest, I haven't even watched it. And the reason why I have not because I'm shutting out anything, you know, I don't want to hear anything that's anti Michael Jackson. It's just that, like I say, if you guys really do your research a little bit and know that, you know, given how powerful MJ was in the music industry, he was making some very heavy, you know, heavy hitter type of moves. And I think a lot of people did have a lot to gain. And then not just that, there are, you know, past accusers that have come out, you know, grown, saying no, and nothing ever happened. There are people that have made statements that they have been approached, you know, by the powers that be to, you know, offered money to make accusations against Michael Jackson. So for me, that's enough. I'm not saying, you know, feel how you want to feel, but just personally, I have not taken the time to watch it, just because you know, it's always, you know, maybe could not be, but I think there's more evidence that weighs in MJ's favor opposed to that. So I haven't taken the time to watch it. But like I say, I do think MJ's dream, as I move my head over, deserves a little bit of, well, a lot of shine. And hopefully there will be more positive videos around Neverland opposed to any negative ones, or future negative ones. But yeah, so kind of short and sweet. Like I said, I didn't really go with the angle. So if you guys clicked on and you guys wanted to hear more about like what other accusations and stuff, I'm sorry, you guys. Wrong video. Wrong video. But yeah, so that's about it. Kind of short and sweet, but wanted to cover it. If you guys have any thoughts that you guys would like to leave down in the comment section down below, I say please do leave them. But yeah, so just my thoughts, and to anything you guys think, you know, positive I may have left out that was included, feel free to leave it down below. Just kind of add to the conversation. I'm gonna do what I normally do when I do my little turn. I'm gonna do my little turn here now. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna be dramatic with my turn. You guys see how dramatic I am with my turn. But anyway, so let me exit out of this. Again, you guys can check me out at LilahMichelle.com. On here, like I say, there is a menu, little menu bar here that you can kind of navigate through with merch, media, and to contact. With merch, I do have, of course, now you know I do have MJ related merchandise, but I also do cover merch that, you know, is related to other entertainment content. You know, like my Rush Hour fans as well, but definitely MJ content on there. You guys could click the shop all and see that. for media. This just has some of the icons you guys can check me out on. Clearly, you have found me on YouTube. Yay! So hit that subscribe button as well as the bell. And TikTok, which I'm going to go to that in a second. Instagram, I do got to get my postings up on Instagram, but for now, your girl's working on it. But yes, on Instagram, it is under I am Lilah Michelle. You can give me a follow on there. And to contact me, if you just want to subscribe, just straight subscribe, you guys can do this here by hitting the email. And thank you so much, Sad, for making my live. Much love. You say Bubbles want to restore the legacy. Oh, okay. You're so funny. Yes. I know. I'm sure Bubbles, if he's still alive, Bubbles being Michael Jackson's chimp, if he's still alive, I'm sure he would want MJ's legacy restored as well. Good point, Sid. But anyway, you guys can go up here to contact. That's another way that you guys can contact me. Also through, as you guys can see there, LilahMichelle3@gmail.com. I check it all the time. You guys, anything business related, please feel free to, drop me a message on there. This is also another way, which is hilarious because it still goes to LilahMichelle3@gmail.com, but you guys can leave a message there, hit the submit button. And yes, and then two, like I said, I'm just pulling up, giving you guys this nice little visual walkthrough. Not that you guys necessarily need it, but yeah, you could hit that follow button as well. And that is about it. Made it short and sweet today, you guys, but I still always have a blast. Thank you so much, Sad, and I will see you guys later. See you guys. Bye.